Podcast 233 with myself, Steve.
I'm Barry.
Isn't he just...
He introduced himself before.
I know. Isn't he just a wanker, though? Hey. So, Barry, talk us through the partners.
Oh, you do the partners. That's your role.
Why? Because you got.
I do the ending.
What's the ending? Oh, you're going to do the ending?
When I go home.
And he's all happy. You know what we should do? We should do like a...
That's the front goal. Garden Culture.
GardenCultureMagazine.com. On Instagram is the same thing, Garden Culture Magazine. They put all of the knowledge you need into a magazine. It's available every couple of months from your local grow shop. If you want to save the environment, like we all should, you go on to GardenCultureMagazine.com and you look through all the blogs, the micro blogs. They've got a really nice website, to be fair. And you can look through all the digital articles on their website. Big up, Eric.
Gavita International. And Gavita, Barry's turning the lights off, so I can't see. He wants to be cozy. Turn them lights on, Reg.
There we go. Gavita International and Gavita North America are the two places you can find them on Instagram. Or go to the website, gavita.com.
Box of the Bud.
Box of the Bud. The
Box,
Bud Box.
Box of Bud.
BudBox Grow Tents on Instagram and BudBoxGrowTents.com. I love it when everything's aligned, brand is on point, and everything's just nice and easy. Go and see them for all your tent needs in silver or in white. Thick poles, always good quality tents. Boom.
Fill a can of Irwin.
Fill a can of Irwin. Can of filter. The can filter, Irwin _ canfilters.nl on Instagram and canfilters.nl on their website. Go and check them out for your intake, extraction, filtration, controls, everything you need to control your environment.
SANlight.
Light.
SANlight
_LED. SANlight UK for the Instagram pages and SANlight.com. They are, in our opinion, the best, most multifunctional, modular LED on the market. Have I just said something's the best? Oh, fucking bastard. Well, that's just my opinion anyway.
AU2 pot.
A pot of the auto. The AutoPot, AutoPot _global, AutoPot Cultivation Consultancy. Try typing that one in one go. And they're online at autopot.co.uk. The system you need, gravity fed, no electricity, autopot.co.uk. Annika. I see what you're doing here.
Changing the
Barry
shit
backwards.
Up. That's what I do. Fuck shit up, mate.
CANNA.uk.official on the Instagram. And the website is canna-uk.com. All your nutrient needs in one place, in WWW land, the metaverse, the NFTs, digital. We're all going to be digital beings in the next 2 years. There you go.
Speak for yourself, mate. I'm in the real world.
I
don't play Xbox and fucking PlayStation when I get home.
No, you sit in a racing chair with no fucking steering wheel attached, pretending you're playing a game. Fucking you, because the engine's out your car. You've got to pretend in your rally seat in your man shed. Fucking you, fucking you.
You're into buying skins on COD and V-Books, mate.
Oh, you've said that one twice today, haven't you? You're getting your money's worth for that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right, I'll see you all after the break, after I've battered Barry.
All good? Ready to go? Turn my voice up a little bit. Oh, God, for everyone watching, the whole family.
Are you ready to go? Barry built a piece in the house that I built, in the booth that I built.
I know people tune in every Sunday to listen, but even when business is good, we still manage to do the podcast.
So, Basil, got a good few new listeners. And do you know why?
Why?
Because I've been doing a couple of lives with the _460.
How did I know it was all going to be down to you, that we've got more people listening, that it's all down to you? And
Well, you're
what I mean?
right. It is always
Why
down
is
to
it
me.
down to you?
'Cause I'm fucking boss.
Shut up.
I'm boss, and I do late night lives between 7 and 8 on the _460. You know what?
You need to pull your finger out somewhere, though, don't you?
I do. He's a million miles an hour, but he's boss. He's like, you know, when you watch him and he's like full of energy, he's 100%. But when you're on live with him, he's boss because he lets you talk and he doesn't interrupt and he keeps a good flow going. So let me get his actual Instagram up so you can all go and follow him. A lot of our new listeners will already be following him because they're here because of him, because they've seen us on the live. Everyone that's been here for a while already knows you're a prick. This is your opportunity to become like quite sound. You know, everyone that doesn't know you, you can you can convince them that you sound. The _460_
Don't like me.
every
Change the channel.
Monday to Friday, 7 till 8, and we're back on there next week to talk about flowering. But the reason I bring him up is because today's episode is Welcome to NPK Live. We're going to do a very short introduction to the gobshite opposite me and the legend that sits in my chair, me. And we're going to talk about the podcast, but we're going to get into the nitty gritty, the basics of growing, because on his live, he wants to know about the basics from seed all the way up to harvest. And you know what? It got me thinking, we haven't done one of these for a while, and let's refresh people on the basics. Anyone who's new to the channel and doesn't want to go back 50, 60, 70 episodes, let's do a refresher for them today. So, welcome to NPK Live. You've joined us on podcast 233. We've been doing this since 2014. Barry's been doing this for about 3 years.
3 years, long enough.
He's saved the show because long-term listeners will know it was me and Thomas from 2014 to 2018. Thomas decided to go on holiday for a little bit. So he's gone on holiday and he's thinking he's going to come back in a few years. And Barry's took the mantle of being the in-house gobshite.
Pulled you out the shit, didn't I, lad?
Somebody to
pulled
talk
you
to.
right out the shit.
Well, that divides opinion. Some people say you pulled us out the shit because you're somebody
Pulled
to talk
you
to.
right out the all mix.
Some people, it does smell like shit. Some people would say it was much better when it was just me by myself.
Hey, listen, mate, if let's have a vote.
Let's have a vote. These lazy bastards, though, they don't do anything on Instagram. I see everyone downloading, everyone in America. Big up to America. You 60% of our listeners. Big up to the UK, the next biggest country, followed by Australia, Canada, Germany, France, Italy, Spain. And then I've got two in South Korea, 2 listeners in South Korea, which is boss. We've got one in China, 1 subscriber in China, which is nice. We've got about 12 in Greenland, 12 subscribers in Greenland.
That doesn't mean to China.
Any need. You'd either create more work for Coates, or I just think I can't be arsed. I'm going to have to leave that joke in.
Leave it in. It'd be a personal one. No one will be on it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
DM me if you want to know the joke.
Yeah.
Spice it up. So we're going to... Yeah, we already have been talking about us. I'm going to say we're going to start talking about us. Don't go back to the very first episodes because they were really shit. We did them on a USB mic, and as the podcast grew, we got better and better equipment. We've got a studio now. We went live for a good few years. Then COVID hit, and we couldn't go live because people were moaning about me and Barry snuggling up to each other. Barry gets a little bit anxious if you get too far away from him, and sometimes he needs a little bit of a snuggle. You know what I mean? To make himself feel better.
I'm needy.
You're a needy fuck. Yeah. But
I'm a needy fucker.
Barry's getting back into it. Barry, I've been saying to Barry, come on, let's do this podcast. And he's like, nah, I'm happy, but he's hit the gym now. Does boxercise, he does pat a cake in the park. Touch butt, plays touch butt in the park. And he's slimmed down. He's like, yeah, let's do more shit. Let's be more active. His rally car's ready to go. His life is on the up. Aren't you?
It was always all right anyway. You make me feel like I'm a down and out tramp or something.
Best house in the street.
Dickhead.
Oh, what are you saying? Best house in the street or not?
You live on a slope.
I do. It's a rainy hill.
Yeah.
It's a very rainy hill where I live.
Washing away in it, Steve.
It is. Not now. Good old John sorted me right out. Fixed me floorboards. You no longer stood on the side of the walls. Anyway, that's enough about us. I'm fucking getting bored now. Barry, we're going to go through the grow stages. And we did this on the 460. And you know what's hard is why are you smirking?
Laughing at
Why
Reg is here with us. He's in the background, just acting the goats. He's doing all kinds behind Steve's back.
Who hasn't Reg worked for? Can you tell me?
He's a bit...
He's like the industry.
Can you say slag on this?
Yeah.
Can you?
Industry fucking slag.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? Gets about our edge, like.
Yeah, Water just bounces around and on track. He's now thinking he's boss. Anyway, come on, let's give the listeners some value. Let's talk about growing, what we're here for. What was hard was when we were on the 460 live, you only get an hour. We didn't even make it to flower, and we just about made it to the flick, switching your plants from veg to flower. And it was just really hard to cover everything. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to try and do the basics. You've got to keep me in line. You're going to ask the questions.
Go on then.
And I'm going to
from start to finish.
From start to finish, yeah. We talked about seeds on that live. We didn't even talk about clones. That didn't even come into it.
So we'll talk about clones now.
Yeah, let's do a bit about the clones. So,
want me to ask you?
No, it's right. We'll start off, and then you can throw in the questions.
Where are you going to start?
Look,
though?
Barry, just before you get a bit precious, everyone knows that the questions you ask, you know the answers to, and I'm not giving you the answers. You are asking the questions on behalf of the listener in case they want to know. Don't start getting a cob on when I look at you saying you take a cutting at a 45-degree angle, and Barry turns around and goes, "Why are you telling me? I know,
lad."
It's like Barry, we're on a podcast telling people.
When he says it, I don't really look at him. I'm just looking the other way, just carrying on. And then he starts explaining something and stares at me, and I go, "Why are you looking at me? I already know." It's like a teacher.
Start getting aggy. You looking at? And I've got to fucking look at the floor while I'm explaining my answers.
Don't look at me.
Yeah, look at the floor.
Look at the mic.
You see how he bullies me, people. I start a petition.
What's a clone, Steve?
A clone is an identical genetic replica of the plant that you've taken it off. But
see how he just does it, Reg, though? Like, a clone is an identical replica. Just say the clones are cutting off a plant. So it's really like the baby that's the mother plant, and this is the baby. So it's got the same genetics, and then we clone that plant, and then we've got an exact replica.
Well, we've got to
David Attenborough
properly. Yeah, David Attenborough's a legend. I don't mind being compared to him. So
what do you do once you take a cutting off a plant?
The thing is, not all cuttings are identical. Some of them do develop. This is where you'll sort of hear about phenotypes.
And it depends on where you take the cutting from on the plant.
It does. Would you like to explain? You can tell me.
It could be like me at the top, just no at the bottom, hard as fuck. It could be like you at the top and soft as fuck.
Yeah, but I root well quicker than you.
Yeah, it's all right though. When I root, I'm in forever.
Yeah, you set your roots and you're fucking grounded
Let's
forever.
Go anyway. Come on, we'll end up having a fight.
I'll defo win. Look, he's got his trainees on, starting to buckle up his trainees, ready to run.
If we start fighting now, Reg will well help me.
Fucking hell. Reg can't help himself.
See?
No, there's one. Team Barry. We should have a vote, Team Barry or Team Stay. And then
Barry.
Whoever wins has to do the next podcast by himself.
I'll do it on my own.
Yeah.
What?
Pink in the brain. I reckon we team him up on him and just tie him up. So, cuttings, genetic replicas of their mother. How do you take a cutting?
With a scalpel or a pair of snips.
Then what do you do? What's your preferred method?
Scalpel.
Why?
Just to clean a cut. Then I give it a little bit of a scrape. And then I dip it in some clone X.
Why do you scrape it?
Just to encourage, so it doesn't have to. I don't know.
Try as hard.
Yeah, try as hard. The wall of the plant is already broken, so it encourages the rooting
wall
hormone
of the plant
to come out. And then I'm into a jiffy, clone, Rockwool, whatever you want to put it in.
I got asked the question: what's better, Rockwool or Jiffy?
There isn't no better.
That's what I said. Personal preference. What would you recommend for beginners?
Jiffies.
Yeah, I said the exact same thing. You listening to my live, trying to learn shit, weren't you? Buddy was listening to me, learning for this podcast. He was like, shit, I've got to listen to this.
I told him.
Taught me everything I know. You do. So Jiffy's for beginners, rock walls, because they dry out a little bit quicker. You don't need to pH rock walls anymore either. That's an old school thing because they used to use formaldehyde when they were creating the rock walls, I should say, not Jiffy. And that used to send your pH right up, so you'd have to soak them in pH 7 water or 6.3 to help get the pH down. And then you'd squeeze them out, flick out the excess water, ready to go. But these days you don't. Just put them into water to soak and then flick out the excess, put your cutting in, and you're not quite ready to go, but it's stable now. What's next? Tuck your cutting, 45-degree angle, scraped away the sides to give more area for the roots to come out of, into your Jiffy, because that's what you prefer. Where did he go on then?
To the propagator.
Do you know what I said on the live? And I'll say it on here as well. I'll say, I hope there's no grow shops listening because they'll kill me. But they were saying, what propagators do you use? Anything that's got a base and anything that's got a see-through lid and can keep hold of moisture. In most shops, you get the Garland high dome propagators, extra large for about £20, large for 15, medium for a tenner. But you can buy cheap propagators from the B&Q for like £3, £5. But what I said is, if you buy one of the good propagators, the Garland ones, good quality plastic, how long's one of them going to last you if you treat it right?
Forever.
B&Q £3 propagator, how long will that last?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. You step on it, Barry's big foot of you, probably roll a card over it. It's going to get crushed in seconds. So you make your choice, you lie in your bed, you deal with it. We would recommend buying products to last and go for the high dome Garland propagators. Barry, tell us about your environment in the propagator.
It's nice.
Nice for who? Nice for you?
All for the plant.
What sort of temperatures and humidity are you working with?
It has. My humidity, I keep that around about the 80% mark, 85% maybe. Can go higher if you want, but you can create a bit of mould in there if you do go a little bit higher. I keep mine around the 80. That works for me. And then I have a CFL or a T5 on the top.
Yeah, you haven't progressed to strip LEDs yet.
No, not yet.
Would you give them a go? Yeah, they look all right, don't we? We've got a couple in the shop over some young plants. Do work well.
What are they called? Cosmos or something?
Cosmos, yeah, quite cheap as well. They will soon. I don't think we'll sell CFLs in the shop after that.
No.
That's your humidity. What's your temperature?
I keep mine. Everyone's different, and people saying you're wrong, but my success rate is successful. I keep mine around 25.
Yeah, nice mid-range temperature. What happens? What can you do if you've got a small propagator and you've done too many clones and you put them all in and they're all squashed together? Because you've just took a 45 degrees, scraped the outside, into Clonex, into your Jiffy, into the propagator. They're all bunched up and dead close. There's nothing you can do. What can you do to help?
Loads of people say cut the leaf, but I like it when it's like that. It's like a little Amazon rainforest. It keeps all the humidity in there and all that. I never have a propagator where it's half empty. Always pick the right propagator for how many clones you're going to do. So if you're going to do 100 clones, you'd have the big propagator because you always want the propagator full. Yeah. The fuller it is, the denser it is, the quicker it builds up humidity, holds humidity, and they love it.
So,
but you can cut leaves in half and all that.
Yeah,
I don't.
Sure. If it's like you said, you don't like to go over 80, 85. If some people are in 95% and the leaves are touching each other, and it's like that for days and could cause mold, isn't it? Yeah. So they could potentially chop them off there. Literally cut your leaves in half. There's nothing wrong with it. Those leaves are going to die anyway when your roots come through. So make sure they've got good space. And then the number one thing that you're looking out for when the propagator know that everything's going well is it's like an Amazon rainforest. It steams up in your propagator. If you've took your clones well, how long should they be in the propagator for?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
If I take mine, I spray them and I put the lid on them and then don't touch them for 5 days. That's my rule.
Don't even
but
go near them.
Everyone's different. Just put the lid on. The first day or two, they'll wilt. You'll think, fucking hell, they're like dead there. But just leave them. People make the mistake of just opening the propagator constantly and checking them, and you're just changing the environment too quick. So just put the lid on them, spray them, put the lid on them, make sure all the vents are shut, put the light on, and forget about them for at least 4 or 5 days. After that, I'll take the lid off, I won't take the lid off for too long. No, I won't have it off for ages, literally a minute at the most. Lid off, good clean, let the air change around, make sure all the jiffies are still a little bit moist and that. Clean all the propagator lid, all the old wart moisture that's in there on the propagator lid. And then I give them another spray, Clonex Mist or Overgrow or something like that. And then I put the lid back on.
Nice explanation.
That's what I do. And then from that day, every day, maybe 2 days, I'll take the lid off, just let the air exchange, give the lid a wipe spray, then put the lid back on again.
Mm. So what's your...
It's usually, don't know, anywhere between 10 and 14 days that they should come through.
What's your thinking on hardening off? What's your process? Do you throw them in the deep end, or do you like to give them like a gradual approach into the big room?
When they're in the prop, you mean?
Mm.
When they're in the prop, see, this is the thing, what gets me, is if you've got to harden off when you're in a plant pot, yeah, then you've gone too quick out of the propagator. That's my rule. Everyone's going to say, no, you put your cutting in there and you put a dome on it. Why would I take a cutting that's should be well rooted out of a propagator which I've hardened off anyway? Because once it's got roots, once they've all established roots, I start opening the vents. So I'm already hardening them off. At some point in that propagator, the vents are going to be fully opened in there, aren't they? So that's my hardening off period. If I put them in and they die, well, I didn't want them anyway because they were weak. They couldn't handle it.
Yeah. You're like a plant dictator, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm like a plant dictator.
Like Kim Jong-il for the plant
I want
world.
the hardest of the hardest plant. So if I have to put my plant then with good root system on it already into a plant pot and put a dome over it, that's like wrapping a kid up in cotton wool. Oh, mate, no. We're going forward, not backward, mate.
So when they're in the propagator,
what I mean, Reg?
how long will you leave the lid off for just before you pot them up? How long would you leave the lid off? Would you leave it off for like 3 or 4 hours?
See, I'm an expert. So my room humidity and temperature would be good anyway. So I wouldn't take them out of a prop that was 80% humidity, 25 degrees, and put them in a room that's 28 degrees and 60% humidity. I'd make sure that my room was delicately balanced at least the same temperatures, so there wasn't a big fluctuation. Is that the right answer? Is that what you was looking for?
Listen, I'm not looking for anything.
Okay.
Apart from love. What though? Because we're going to do a podcast on this and you're going to love it. It's called Reality versus... what was the other R? There was reality versus something else. You're the realism versus optimism, something like that. So the optimistic view is the one you've just taken. You hope that...
Hope?
Yeah. You hope that when they go...
see.
No, you hope that the people that are listening will take them out of propagation, that in a 80% propagator with 25 degrees, and
no, I'd hope that
they're
people...
going to go into 70% humidity with 25 degrees, so the environment's pretty similar.
And it's not hard to do, is it? Because if your propagator's there, you'd have a hydrostat with the lead on it, with the lead inside the propagator, so you can get accurate measurements of humidity and temperature, yeah? And then you'd adjust your room the day before and let it run its course, the room with nothing in it, just to try and build it up to them standards of that propagator.
I'm going to throw a spanner in the works. Check me building.
You don't even know what a spanner looks like. Say a pen.
I do.
So say a pen or a mouse.
I'm going to throw a pen in the
or
works.
A book.
And we'll fix it with your spanner later.
Go on.
You said you have a CFL or a T5
yeah.
over your plants.
Yeah.
When they go into the big room,
yeah,
more likely if you've got the boss room, they could be under LEDs. But most people, they're going to go under 600 watt HPS lights, high intense, high pressure output lights.
Yeah.
And sometimes the plants are going to be like, what the fuck is this? How do you combat that? Like, how are we going from CFL to the big fucking boys?
I just combat it by putting... I still have the light on 600, but it's at the very top of the room. So it's far away. It's like easy 2 meters plus away from the top of the plant.
Then gradually bring it down.
And then as that plant starts to do its thing and starts to grow, and then I'll slowly bring the light down.
Would you, if let's say you were in, I don't know, a 2.4 by 1.2, fits 3 lights in the summer, in the winter, 600 watts. Yeah. Well, what's your preference? Have them high, all 3 on, dead high at 600s, or 1 on and 600 dead high, or all 3 on at 250 and bring them lower? What's your preference? My preference,
and it's different for everyone else, my preference would be, let's say, a 2.4 by 1.2, average 8 to 10 plants. Or what I would do is I'd bunch all them plants, whether they were in 10 litre pots, 15 litre pots, I'd bunch all the plants up as close as I could, all the pots up to one side of the tent, and put one 600 watt light on. And as they grow. And have it right at the very top, because you need that light to build that heat up. If you put, don't get me wrong, if you go on 250s and put them all on and bring them lower, but they're not used to that light. So I wouldn't. I'd just have one 600 on to get the heat up in the tent and have it dead high up, like at the very top of the tent, at least for a couple of days. That's just how I do it. People will be listening now and do it their way. Just say, oh, he's thick as fuck him. I don't do it like that, but that's just what works for me, mate. If I do the same with my LEDs. Yeah, if it works for you, and it has been working for you, and you've got great success, you keep doing your great success tactics, keep going. But obviously, we're not here talking to the people who've had great success. We're here to talk to the people who are just starting, or maybe need to really think about the basics. Because what he also said is, and we've all been through it, we've all suffered with it, we all know the basics. We've all got very good at the basics. And then what happens when you get good at the basics? Where do you go to? You forget the basics. What do you do? And then you try and get too far ahead of yourself and it all goes to fuck. So you start thinking about advanced techniques, dry back in your watering cycles, VPD, humidifiers and dehumidifiers to keep your VPD at the perfect point. And you forget the basics. And if you've not got the basics and the foundations there, then these advanced techniques are going to go to shit, aren't they? Lollipop and scrog and all these plant training techniques that you can use once you've got your basics down. Just don't forget the basics. Sometimes we all need a recap. Even me, even Barry needs to recap it. You do? You need a fucking recap, mate. Who? You do? No, I don't. Yeah, you do. I bet you Googled some... I've been through every level. And now I'm at the top. And now you've come back down to the beginners. I bet you to explain to them. Bet you Googled some stuff on how to build a car. Oh. Yeah, you do. No. You Googled stuff on how to build a house. No, I don't. Yeah, you do. I just know. It's like it was imprinted into me. Yeah. I came with them microchips inside me that told me I know how to do shit. Imagine if that was the real future. The real future is going to be you basically program your baby to what they're going to do. Are they going to be a builder? Are they going to be a lawyer? You imprint them with pre-knowledge. Like Barry was imprinted with rallying cars and tightening bolts and getting screws out of wood. That's what you do, isn't it? Reply to me. Can we get back to ground, please, Stephen? No, he's got a bit of a semi on there because it talks about building. Haven't you? You just go off. These people are listening and make them want to learn, and then you just go off. Oh, shall I pull you back in next time you go off? Yeah, I go off on good rants. Make people want to hear my shit. Yeah. So then, potting up. Reg, sit down, mate. Honestly, you're giving me pure anxiety. So stood in the doorway. Sit down, please, mate. Listen, you'll learn a bit. He looks like Spring-Heel Jack sat in the corner over there. He looks dead embarrassed and he's not even on film. I know. So, potting up. What is your process of potting up? You've gone from Jiffy. You've probably put them in the small terracotta pots to go into the big tent. I put them in small, out of the propagator. And then what I'll do is, if I know I'm going to finish in a 10 or 15 litre pot, then I fill them 10 or 15 litre pots up with the mud, whatever one I choose. I put them in the tent, and then what I do is I get my Jiffy and either go in a 1 litre or a half litre terracotta pot up into that right out the propagator. Don't ever touch me again. I didn't touch you. Pot up in the propagator. Look, you've got me all legally-wiggledy now. I pot up in the propagator because he's fiddling with me mic. I pot up from the propagator, I pot up into a 1 litre or a half litre pot, and I sit them on top of me 10 litre pots. I leave them in there for 4 or 5 days. By that time, they should be root bound. And then, to be honest with you, some people are going to hate it. Some people will love it, though. I don't pot up. I just go right into my finishing pot. Once that 1 litre or the half litre is fully root bound and that plant is full strength, then it's out of that, in the big shoes, and we're done.
I hate that.
Huh?
I want to pot up. I want to go into that 6.5 litre pot first.
Yeah.
7 litre pot first.
Yeah, you can do that, mate. That's up to you.
Reason being is I want my roots to grow wide. I want them to grow outwards.
Like I've just said, mate, I'm not trying to change your method to growing. You asked me.
What's the best way?
The best way is to pot up, probably.
But but realistic Barry
No.
says people don't really have time to do this.
Save the planet, Barry. I don't go out. You can't, when you use a cloth pot, you can't pot up from a 1 litre cloth pot to a 2 litre cloth pot to a 5 to a 7.5 to a 10 because it's far too hard in cloth pots, yeah? So you now, Stephen, are ruining the world by going out and buying 4 different sets of plastic, aren't you?
Now I buy recycled plastic.
You might do, but it's still plastic, isn't it?
It's
It's already been cycled once, and what are you going to do with it when you finish with it all?
I use it again.
And again,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm there. I don't buy them. I don't support it.
I'm cloth pots anyway.
Aye, good luck potting up them, mate. It'll fall to fucking bits on you.
Actually, I'm not cloth pots. I'm
Well,
charcoal.
make up your mind.
I'm
No, you're not.
charcoal. So my pots grow into my pots. I'm a charcoal. Bastard.
Nah, the right way would be to pot up, but I just don't do it. Don't.
So we've potted up. Our plants are spread out. We have our lights on, or we have our LEDs on, but you're probably not an LED grower if you're if you're getting into the basics of it.
Why not?
Why not?
Just throwing out there. Why not? Like,
Well, it's for people who are just starting a hobby. It's unlikely that they will want to go out and spend.
I know it's the same as we were
Hundreds,
talking
tens
about
of
before
hundreds
with
of
the bank
pounds.
card. Go Emery bank card and the kids. People just throw the credit card at them in the 5 and expect them to know the full shebang about money.
It's completely different.
It's not.
That story makes no sense in this
It's not.
situation. It doesn't. If you're so, let me think of a hobby.
So
All
if
right,
you're
all
a
right,
new,
all right,
so
here
if
we
you're
go.
a
Here
new,
we go.
no,
Here we go.
no.
Yes.
If you're a new
Yes.
grower
Yes.
and you're brand new to this and it's your first time, you're trying to say that it's very unlikely that they will use LED in this day and age.
Yeah.
No.
Because
No.
correct
And
me if I'm wrong.
so
Have you
you're
got any
saying-
new hobbies?
me?
Have you got any new hobbies?
Nah.
Nah.
No.
Fitness.
Yeah, I go to the gym.
Got boxing gloves.
Yeah.
How much really?
I had 85 quid
Why didn't you buy the £100 ones?
because the ones that I've got are for pad workout. So I wouldn't go and buy fucking big daft fucking monster ones, would I? I do pad workout.
So you've got the best gloves you can use for pad workout. There's no better glove on the market.
No. There's better names.
Yeah.
Mine are Adidas. There will be better boxing branded names, yeah, but that's...
Is there better gloves though? Better for pad work? Are they better?
No.
There will be better. So you've got
There's
the
not.
best. So there's
I've
no
got-
better
I've got
boxing
the
gloves.
best, mate.
And that, for £30, you got the... So Tyson Fury uses £30 gloves.
Yeah.
I call bollocks.
Yeah.
I
It's
call
the
bollocks.
hammers. It's the hammers in the gloves.
All right, let's pick something else. So I'll get my point across. You start a new hobby.
Yeah.
You don't go balls deep and start spending thousands and
No,
thousands of
that's-
pounds
no,
because you're
that's-
finding out if this hobby's for you.
No, but that's not what you said.
It is. I said if you're new to growing
Yeah.
and you're doing this as a hobby, you're unlikely to go and spend thousands of pounds to go and throw LEDs on, because what's to say, oh, this is shit, I don't like it, and now fucking spend thousands of pounds. People who start a new hobby tend to spend a few £100. Let's see if I like it. Do you know what I mean? You don't
But don't
always
rule
go
it
balls
out.
deep. I'm not. That's why I said it's
Don't rule it
very
out.
unlikely.
There's people who are doing it as a hobby, Stephen, would be hobbying in their own house, and it'd be more efficient for them to buy an LED. preferably.
Hobbying in their own house. Oh, you tit.
But they'd be hobbying in their house. And what would you rather use, people? A 600 watt, which fucking spins your meter, or a SANlight, which runs 245 watt. More efficient. And to be honest, it should be beneficial for them and less complicated for them to use an LED, because now they're not struggling with heat.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, I'm right.
You're right.
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't
I
saying
think-
about what they'd struggle with or what was better.
Yeah.
If
So
you've got,
anyone
if
who's
you're a
starting,
multi-millionaire,
so anybody, why have you got to be a multi-millionaire to buy LED lights nowadays?
no, but I'm just basically
What?
going to the extreme. If you've got a lot of
What's
money
the extreme?
and you want to throw in whatever amounts of money,
Oh, you can buy an LED now, a SANlight LED for
you need two of them.
£400.
You need two of them.
No, we don't know what size tent they're in. Don't get it.
1 metre by 1 metre.
So £400 per LED. Or you can go out and buy an LED for £3,000. But if you're brand new to it and you're a hobbyist and you're hobbying in your own house,
You're a hobbyist.
then go and buy the £500 one. Because
need
it
two of them.
will be better on your electricity
You
consumption.
need two of them, though,
Okay, then two of them are that. Why do you need two of them?
because that's what you need.
I'm in a 60 by 60 tent. Why do I need Tuesday? No one told me the size of the tent.
I
was
said 1
hobbying
metre
in.
by 1 metre. You said what size tent were you in? You said a 1 metre
You
by 1
didn't.
metre. I did. Reg, did I
Did
say
he?
1 metre?
All right, then. So you need two.
Yeah, £800
£800.
compared to
£800 in this day and
£150.
age, mate. T-shirts, some designer T-shirts, £450.
I wouldn't
mate.
know, mate. I wouldn't. I don't go shopping in them places, you swag
Fucking
bastard.
I don't.
I
don't.
Boom, 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 boom,
No.
Baby,
yeah,
take off your £400 shirt. You fucking what do you swish, bitch. Fucking
No.
Look at the state of you.
Tell me now. I'm going to fucking flip in a minute. Tell me
here's
now.
something new.
Is an LED better? Forget the price. Mate. Hobbies
Okay.
are expensive no matter what hobby you have. Is it better for them to have an LED or a 600 watt?
It is better for them to have a SANlight LED.
There you go. You fucking hell, mate. You've just argued with me there. So it's
Okay,
better
let's
for
get-
them because someone who's brand new is going to struggle with heat, aren't they? Everyone does when they're brand new. Do we all agree? We all agree. There you go. So an LED is not going to produce the heat, is it?
So let's get back to the point. Some people who start will have 600 watt HPS lights, high intensity
And some will have LED.
lights.
Just say it.
More people will have HPS.
Yeah, but just say, yeah, but don't
and
rule
some
out.
people will have LEDs, yeah.
Yeah.
But the majority will have HPS because it's just a more affordable option. So when they go to those HPS, high intensity light, I've completely forgotten where we're up to on the grow cycle.
But we've just potted up.
We've just
We're
potted
in
up.
veg.
You fucking,
First week.
we're in reg. Fucking hell, how do you feel about that?
We're in veg.
We're in third week of reg. The plants have all gone red on top. Third week of reg.
No. If you were using an LED, they might go red on top, mate.
Yeah.
Aye.
Reds and purples.
LED, mate.
So, let's get back on track. How long are we vegging for? This is the big problem now. This is the big problem for beginners because they're going to get told all kinds of shite from their mate John.
There isn't a date. There isn't a time scale on veg.
So, if I have...
So, if you tell them, go on,
if I
how
have
long
a
do you
10
veg for?
If I have a 10 litre pot, I'm going to veg you for 4 weeks.
Higher, what if you have a problem?
And then I do okay.
What
then,
if they just,
then next
what
time,
if you don't have a problem, but the genetic just isn't growing quick enough?
4 week veg in a 10 litre pot.
I'm going to flick a plant
4
when
week
it's 6
veg
inches old.
in a 20 litre pot. 4 week veg in a 30 litre pot. 4 week veg in a 50 litre pot. What's the difference?
What do you mean?
So some people will just go, I've heard this recently. I did a 4 week veg in a 20 litre pot and I decided, well, I did boss in that, so I'm just going to upgrade to a 50 litre pot. I said, great. How long did you veg for? I just kept it to 4 weeks. What's the problem?
End up with a bigger root system for a start.
Won't be root bound, slightly bigger
Yeah,
root system,
yeah.
but will you get a bigger plant?
No.
No. These people expect
This is
a
an
bigger
argument
plants.
that's for advanced people. So don't get into it because people say bigger roots, bigger fruits, and I just don't believe that's true. No, just don't believe it's true.
What did we change that to? Or what were we trying to change that to? They've gone from, the common saying is bigger roots, bigger fruits. And we came up with a better saying. Well, I think it was better anyway. It was more bigger fruits.
Not the size of the nail, it's the arm you're hitting it with. That's what she says to you. To make you feel good.
Natalie's never said that to me.
my God.
Did you hear me response? Or were you
I
laughing
did,
too
yeah,
loud?
but it was shit.
It was a great response.
My bird would never go near you. Come on, anyway.
I did. Get back. Stop fucking directing away from the conversation.
Can't help it.
You fucking
Look
smell.
here.
Come on. So get back into potting up and
You were
plants.
telling me 4 weeks.
So
It's
is there a
wrong.
right or wrong in veg periods?
Yeah,
What's wrong?
everything.
Do you see how this is difficult, listeners? This is
No,
difficult.
there isn't. Someone shouldn't put a plant in a pot and say, yeah, in 4 weeks from today, mark it on the calendar. Bump, mark it. 4 weeks. You don't do that, mate. You've got to be able to read your plant and go, yeah, man, that's it. And you've got to also be able to know what plant you're doing. And when you put that plant into flower, have you done your research on the genetics of the plant that you're doing to say, well, it still grows for 3 weeks after that? And if they put their plant into flower too short, it's not going to get too big. If they put it in veg too long, it's going to get too tall, get too close to the lights and burn. So there's a sweet spot in it all. You've got to do your research on your plant, what you're doing.
And is this applicable even to beginners?
More so to beginners.
Because they don't know what the plant's going to do.
Because the plants will hit the fucking top of the tent and come back down.
So if someone was like saying to us, listen, fucking, there's that much information out there, just tell me what to fucking do. Most people will do a 4-week veg.
Yeah.
In a 20-litre pot, go cloth so that they don't go root bound. But it's a bit of a venture, isn't it? It's a bit of research. Because, like you just said, with the genetics, if you might veg for 4 weeks, they might go really tall. And then you flick them and they go even taller. So next time you know, you've got to
Stop
veg
with the
them for
word
a short
flick.
amount of time.
Put them into flower. People across the world don't use the word flick.
That's what you're here for.
Carry on, Stephen.
To be the Urban Dictionary. That is
What do you
Basil.
mean, Reg?
The Basil Urban Dictionary. We do not flick.
He's saying who goes on. I just said to him then,
We stroke.
don't say flick, and he's gone into Urban Dictionaries and all that. So anyway, putting the plant into flower.
You
Yes.
sound like me, doesn't he? I've become Basil. I've become the Aggie one. And you're the scientific Basil. I like it. We've vegged for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
What are we doing in veg to get the best out of them?
Making sure the humidity, temperature, lights aren't too close, looking after them, a little bit of de-leafing, time and care, making sure you're not overwatering, underwatering, right EC, right pH,
What's EC?
salts in the water,
And what's pH?
acidity of the water, the acid in the water.
So, do we foliar feed in veg?
We do.
And do we have the lights on for 24 hours a day?
No.
Why not?
Where in the world has the lights on for 24 hours a day? And I know what you're going to say. You're going to find somewhere, and then I'm going to say to you, yeah, tell me, dickhead, what plants grow there?
So I won't say that, and then you won't reply with that, and we'll carry on. 80. Basil predicts the future. Predict the end of this podcast.
There will be plants that grow there, and you can put your plants on 24-hour veg, but just imagine, yeah, give them a fucking break, will you? You know what I mean? Imagine me keeping you up for 24 hours a day. You're going to look like shit. So,
Have you been
fuck
up for
that.
24 hours last night? You okay?
What?
Have you been up for 24 hours last night?
No, since 5:30 this morning. No.
Red just creased.
Shut up, Harold Shipman.
Old deer hunter.
Yeah.
What were we saying? Threw me off now. Come on.
What?
What were you saying?
I've just told you. Just asked me. You asked me what EC was. I told you. You asked me
So,
what pH was. I
That's
reminded
what,
you.
24 hours of light. He said no.
Yeah, no, don't do 24
18
hours.
hours of light when
18
you're vegging.
hours and 6 hours off.
6 hours off. Did you know, not you, Barry, listeners, we
Yeah.
know you know everything.
Look
Did
at
you-
Reg, don't look at me.
Did you know? No, Reg knows this as well. He's worked for every company under the sun. He knows everything. Well, more than you. That it is the darkness that stimulates flowering.
Yeah.
So it's not the 12 hours of light that create flowering sites. It is the 12 hours of darkness. Increase the darkness changes your plants from veg to flower.
Yeah.
So are we ready to move out of veg anyway, as we're talking about light?
Here's one for you. When should you go into veg? So, say your lights have been off for 6 hours.
When should you go into flowering?
When should you go into flowering, Stephen? So when your lights have been off for 6 hours, yeah, should you then adjust the timer so they're off for another 6, or should you let the lights come on for 12?
Okay, so there's some people that'll give it 36 hours of darkness.
They're daft. Don't acknowledge them people.
It's a thing.
That's not me. That's just...
No, it's a thing that people do.
Yeah, but it's a load of bollocks, lad. It's a load of bollocks, mate. I don't believe any of that shit.
So?
I don't.
I would.
Don't do it if you're a beginner. Don't be doing stuff like that, because some people will go, Barry from NPK, he doesn't have a clue when he's going on about NPK, lad. But I've never done it, and I've always had good success, and I don't know anyone that does it, and anyone that says that they do it, I sort of turn away and put my hands in my pocket and I head off in the other direction, because it's like a waste of time.
I have done it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Did you see a benefit?
No, not really.
There you go.
Not really.
I shouldn't be speaking to you.
Why
if
not?
I had known, I'd have fucking battered you.
Yeah.
It's just pointless effort.
That's why
but
people see
one thing, but let's go back to it now, though. But one thing that does get me, do you understand what I'm saying? So imagine,
I personally didn't see a difference.
Imagine, no, not the 36-hour thing. No, that doesn't work, mate. What I'm saying to you now. So my lights have been on 18 hours. They've gone off, so they're off for 6 hours now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to put them into flower. Do I adjust the timer to keep them off for 12 hours then? Why they've gone into the dark period? So they're only supposed to be off for 6 hours. Yeah. Do we adjust the timer and keep them off for an extra 6 hours, or do I let the lights come on after 6 hours and keep the lights on for 12 hours and then put them into the 12-hour darkness?
You make sure that the darkness, you keep them in darkness for 12 hours.
Yeah.
So you keep them in dark for the extra 6 hours.
Yeah. So when you're going from veg into flower, when your light cycle change, when your lights go off for the very last time on 18 hours, you'd adjust the timer to stay off for the extra 6 hours. Yeah. Sound.
I was going to ask a question then, and it's popped out of my head. Time differences.
Yeah.
What catches everyone out 2 times a year?
Summer.
Yeah. And what happens in summer?
Gets hotter.
What else happens in summer?
The light outside stays out for longer.
What else happens? That's going to affect the grower in his grow room with his timers.
I don't know. What? Times go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it catches people out.
Fuck that, though. That doesn't bother me, like.
Well, it can
Gives me an extra hour off.
You're going to turn up an hour later or an hour earlier. The reason it catches people out is because they don't always change the timers on the contactors.
So when would you change the timer so it has an hour less dark or an hour more dark? Or an hour more light, an hour less light?
If you're in veg, an hour more light. Yeah. If you're in flower, an hour more dark.
It doesn't bother me, an hour's nothing. An hour is nothing.
What do you think about these people?
If I turned up and my lights were off and it still had an hour left and I thought, you bastard, I'd just go, fuck that, mate, turn the lights on, boom. Because an hour's nothing.
So so you sort of answered my next question. Some people say, I give them 10 hours of darkness. I give them 14 hours of darkness. What do you think about all that?
I'd say just get on Google and say, like, fucking, this is all chatting shit.
Barry wants to straighten it with everyone.
It's pointless. They're not the rules.
Not the rules.
They're not the hardy.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
It's like fucking a football team going out on the pitch and all that, and they go, yeah, we're going to do 70 minutes today, lad, yeah? Full game, 70 minutes, yeah, not 90 now. It's not heard of, lad. They're the rules.
So we're into flower.
Yeah.
When will you expect to see flower on site if everything's going well?
If you use nano flower start within 2 weeks.
And if you're not seeing flower on sites after 4 weeks, what have you done wrong?
Not used nano flower start. Nano flower start is a phenomenal product for that reason.
Yeah.
You should use it the last week of veg, first 2 weeks of flower. And it will just unbelievably, in front, you can go in and watch it, and it will be flowering in front of you. It will be putting sites out everywhere.
So even if you
outside the tent everywhere,
flower start,
there'll be sites.
Even if you use flower start and you get into week 4 of flower and there's no flower on site, what's happened?
Your time is fucked.
your timer's fucked. And
you've left a pin up or something's happened, or your timer's blowing when you're going there, the lights are on, and when you're getting off and you think the lights are going off, they're not really going off, the timer's just spinning. So after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, if you don't see any change or any flower in sight, you've got a problem.
with your contactor. There's also another problem that you could have.
Like leakage.
Yes, exactly. And it's affected me firsthand. So what you've got to do is, when the lights are off,
Leaky lights, Reg.
when you go when the lights are off, you've got to go into your room. You've got to stand in there for 5 minutes in the pitch black, let your eyes adjust. Because if you go in there from the bright lights into your room and it's meant to be dark, and you just think it's pitch black no matter what, let your eyes adjust to the dark. When I did that, I realised that there was a big fucking crack of light coming through the door that you can't see, and it was piercing the middle of the plants. And those middle of the plants were not produced from flowering sites. The outsides were, the inside wasn't. Why did your stomach just tense a little bit then, and you went all crinkled in the face?
The seat's fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's what happened. And so light leakage is a big problem if you are growing photoperiodic plants. If you're not growing photoperiodic plants, you don't have to worry. You can just have your lights on whenever you want. But photoperiodic plants, it's crucial to give them the 12 hours of darkness. What are you doing in flowering? Are you playing with your plants? Are you messing with them? Are you changing your temperature and humidity? But you're just leaving them the fuck alone?
Oh, I'm changing everything.
What are you doing?
Making sure my temp. I like my temp around anywhere between 26 and say 25 and 27. That's my desired temperature. Yeah. I like to keep the humidity around. Going into flower for the first 3 weeks of flower, I like to keep the humidity somewhere between, as long as it sits, I'm not pinpoint accurate with mine, as long as it sits between 50, 65, I'm happy with that. Seems to do me well. Once I get into the 3rd week of flower though, I want it down. I want my humidity down. I want my temperatures to stay the same, and I want my humidity down to around the 50% mark permanently. Yeah. And especially when the lights go off, because we're now in the flower stage, these plants are well established, aren't they? Yeah. So there's a lot more foliage in the tent or in the rooms, which creates humidity. So you have to watch it during the night cycle that the temperature doesn't spike when the lights are on. So
what are you doing with your EC, your electrical conductivity? How much nutrients you give to your plants? What are you doing?
We should have started that when we were in veg. So when we're in veg, I start them off at about 0.8, something like that, and slowly build it up. It's a bit just like us when we're babies. What do we have, Steve?
Baby food.
We have baby food, don't we? Well, let's look at the baby food like that's weak food, because we can't give a baby a Sunday dinner. It's not going to happen, is it? Choking on sprouts and all that, it's not going to happen. So you give them baby food. And as your kids get older, they start eating more and more and more. We'll look at that like it's getting stronger, the food. Yeah. So they're going to, why smiling? They're going to start off on 0.8 when they're babies, and you're gradually going to build it up. But as you build it up, Stephen, you have to, be the plant whisperer and the plant monitor, and you've got to have your eyes on your plant, because if you go a little bit too much, you'll see the burn. That's the signs. Then then
what do you see when you see a burn?
What
do you see when it burns?
What do you mean?
What does your plant do when you get a bit, when you burn them with too much nutrients? What happens to the plant?
Scream at you.
Yeah.
You'll see it on the very tips. Little tiny brown burns on the end of the very tip of the leaf. When you see that, you know you've just overdone it a little bit. So you just need to back off a little bit and just slowly increase it, I'd say. So starting off when you're very first potted up into your half litre or your 1 litre pot, it's about 0.8. That's where I like to keep it. And then slowly go to 1, then 1.2, 1.3. I'd say at the end of your veg shade, at the end of my veg stage, I'm normally somewhere between 1.5, something like that.
Yeah.
But then once I get into flower, I will start pushing my plants. People don't push the plant enough. But
would you ever in veg take it above 1.5?
Nah, not really. No.
I've said no matter if you're growing for 4 weeks or whether you're growing for 40 weeks, a plant at 1.5 EC was good set of nutrients.
Yeah,
is enough to sustain itself.
Yeah. Once you go into flower though, then we're playing with fire, then I'm on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm going up.
So so let's go.
I'll keep it at 1.5 for the first 2 weeks of flower because they're going through a stressful period now. Yeah,
good point.
But I'm using nano root stem, which has got added silica in it, so it helps it a lot.
Yeah,
de-stresses the plant. You can see it just in itself. Go in there, man. The fucker's doing yoga. And it's that relaxed, Red. You know what I mean? She's in there loving life, and then slowly, once it gets past about week 2 of flower. See, it changes if you use LEDs because you can push them a bit more, but let's just go on 600. I'll take it to about 1.6 then on week 2 of flower. Then I'm going then. Now it's going, boom, 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 and I'll slowly take it up. I probably usually finish, depending on what genetic of plant you're doing and what strain of plant and what plant you are doing. It's, I think, ending up on about 2.2 is around about a good figure. If you've got no burn, then, and you've got no signs of stress or anything like that, I would notch it up again. You know what I mean? If it's handling it. But once you see that burn, then you need to come back down the level and just keep it there then.
If you see a burn, when you see that burn, it's because what you did 2 weeks previous, because it takes a little bit of while to show up in the plant. So give them a good flush. pH your water when you flush and when you've overdone it? No, because there's a lot of nutrients in the soil or the cocoa. So if your pH to 5.8, you're allowing those nutrients to be pushed up and taken up in the plant. So just flush with plain tap water, literally push them that this is when you are doing a flush. This is when the flush term is actually relevant. You're flushing everything out the soil to reset, and then you start again with about a 0.4 of a lower EC than you were doing, and it'll help you crack on.
Everyone's different though. Some people listen to this and go, oh my God, what's he saying there? I don't do that. I do this and I do. But it's different. It all depends on environment as well. Yeah, exactly. If your room's running relatively hot, let's say it's at the max of 28 going into 30 sometimes, then you'd never take your EC high. You know what I mean? You'd always keep your EC a bit lower because the plant wants more just water from you. Because it's like if your room's, I say this, don't I? Steve's going to start laughing at me. If I put one of you listeners now on the beach in Marbella and it's, what's the temperatures in Marbella?
35.
40, let's say it's 45, and I come out with a Sunday dinner. You're going to laugh at me. You're not going to want it, are you? What would you eat? You'd want a little light salad, a little lamb salad, wouldn't you, or something? That's what you'd want to eat, wouldn't you? Yeah, yeah. So then come away from that. Let's say I take you to the Arctic where it's minus 45, and I bring you a salad. What do you want? Do you want
a fucking hot drink?
You want a fucking big bowl of scouse, don't you?
Yeah.
Or a fucking big Sunday dinner. And
that's what Barry is, isn't he? He's a big bowl of scouse.
Listen, trying to be fucking
serious.
Trying to be serious here, mate. Let's keep it real.
Knowledge.
Doing me head in. So, if your room is running relatively hot, you want a lower EC. If you can keep your room running the way I keep my room running at around 25 to 26, then you can give it a bit more EC because it's like being in the plant's like it's hot, it likes the environment, but you can up the EC a little bit more. You know what I mean?
I do. So week 6 of flower, week 7 of flower.
Yeah.
What are we doing with our EC?
You tell me what you're doing.
I'm starting to bring mine down. So I treat it like a pyramid. So start of flower, you're already at 1.5. You take it up through week 2, 3, 4, 5. If you are on an 8-week flower, I would start to bring it down at week 6, 7, and 8. If you're on a 10-week flower, I would do, 10-week flower, you do week 5 twice, week 6 twice, and you do week 7 and 8, if that makes sense from a grow chart. So you start bringing it down around week 6 to 1.8, then 1.5, then 1, and then you finish your plant.
What you finish with, Steve?
So when we say finish, what beginners will see is the word flush. Now, flush makes you feel great, makes you feel as though you're putting your plants in a nice shower, you're flushing out all the horrible, nasty nutrients, and it's just water going through the plant and it's all fresh and lovely. When actually you've just spent the last fucking 16 weeks trying to plow it full of nutrients and you think a week is going to be enough to flush nutrients out of it. Doesn't happen. It's a word called, they get assimilated into the plant and you can't flush them out. So me and Basil, we decided to call it finishing because that's what you're doing. You're finishing your plant, and whether you do that with just water or with weak nutrients, you bring your EC down to 1 or 0.8, 0.5, and you are finishing your plant. You're saying to it, there's a lack of nutrients, getting towards the end of your life cycle, it's time to end. And that's when it will push all your production, it will push colours, and it will push its last bit of energy, every little bit of energy it's got, into its final weight.
Fruit.
Yeah, final fruit. What happens in nature is you plant, it pushes all of its energies into seeds because it wants to spread its seed and get more plants out there. When you've got a female plant, it pushes all of its weight into the fruits, and you get bigger, harder, denser fruits. And that's how you finish your plant. What are we doing then?
Harvest time, baby.
Harvest time, baby. If you grow edible fruits like tomatoes, pears, apples, you pick them off the plant, give them a good wash, and you fucking eat them straight away. I
still like to leave them in a bowl for a couple of days, though.
Do you? Let them soften up.
Yeah, that's what I'm about, lad.
Let
them soften up a little bit.
If you grow herbs, tobacco, anything like that, then...
You're dying to say, because we have 60% of listeners in America. What are you dying to say, Stephen?
Dying to say anything. If lots of people grow herbs and tobacco.
And the bulk of our people who are listening are listeners in America.
Yes.
Where it is legal.
Well, legal to grow medicinal cannabis.
Yeah.
In about 36 of the states.
Yeah.
And I think last count,
as we know, in
15.
Britain, you shouldn't be doing that because it's very naughty. You shouldn't be doing it.
You're a very naughty boy. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. Do you get the joke, Barry?
Yeah, I do.
What's
Carry
it
on.
off?
Shite.
What's it off?
That stupid film like the Roman thing.
He's not growing tomatoes, growing weed. Very naughty boy.
Yeah.
So if you're in those legal states, legal countries such as Germany, such as Malta, well done to those progressive countries, and you'll want to cure and dry your harvest, or tobacco and herbs. So you will, in our opinion, chop the plant, whole plant hang on a piece of string, 45% humidity, 22 degrees Celsius, 10 to 11 days. When there's no moisture in the stems, they snap, and you can start to manicure and trim your bush. Do you like to trim and manicure your bush?
Nope.
What do you do?
Old school.
Run wild.
Yeah. My man.
Amazon rainforest.
No, my man.
Aye, and what does it being a man mean?
Don't go near myself with a razor and shave bushes and that.
Don't you?
No, lad. A fucking Roman fucking gladiator.
You're a fucking liar. That's what you fucking are.
You know, lad.
Oh, listeners, listen, we're
to work
sorry.
with a shield and a sword, mate.
This is what happens when we do a Friday night podcast. It's a little bit less business, a little bit more fun. So sorry. And this is introducing
Someone's going to be in the house and like that. Fucking need to know how to grow. And you fucking knobs need to know how to grow. You're fucking talking about shaving bushes. You fucking scouse swat.
There's 260 new listeners this week. And say this week, we got 260 new listeners according to IP addresses on Wednesday, and they're going to be listening to this next podcast. There's like probably the second or third podcast.
Think I'm fuck
what the
that.
fuck have I listened to here? So yeah, you
normally is good and like educational, but
it's when we
it's
do
Friday.
That's when we do it on like a Tuesday or a Thursday afternoon.
Yeah,
Friday. No, it's Friday. Yeah, Saturday, Sunday. It's Friday. Yeah.
Isn't he embarrassed? He's like the embarrassing dad, isn't he?
Like Ricky Gervais off The Office.
Yeah, lad. That's who he's like. Everyone just wants a ball and he's, oh, no, you can't do that.
Look, doing the briefcase dance.
Honestly, lad. You're like the embarrassing dad, aren't you?
I've taken drugs and I can't feel my arms.
He's like the dad with the tissue outside the school, licking it and rubbing the kid's face. And you should have washed him before he got it. Fucking come. Never mind doing it now.
So that's how you grow plants. Did you enjoy that, Barry?
Yeah, it was all right, man.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you want proper information, then you can follow us at.
There's definitely
NPK.
another podcast out there that's like better than us, though.
What would you call it?
I don't know. Head over to my other channel, Barry. I'm Reg.
Fucking Dick and Dom.
We talk properly about growing in depth.
To me, to you. That's what you used to are. At NPK Podcast, send us your serious questions. I will answer them seriously. Barry doesn't get involved in all that sort of stuff.
We nearly had guests on today, didn't we?
Ooh, very nearly.
The pair of them fucking shit themselves. Wouldn't do it.
All the fucking Cockney white boys. We give it all this. We give it all that.
Fucking cunts.
Do you want to come on the podcast? Fuck that, mate. Fuck that. We're going fucking out.
We'll arrange that for another fucking day. I've got fucking lemon card, fucking cake.
What?
Yeah, blinder, belters.
Yeah,
he was too interested in his lemon drizzle fucking in the van.
Was he?
Wanted to hit the road and eat his lemon drizzle. Aye.
Ugh. He doesn't look after his body like you, does he, Baz?
It was Monkey Nutrients, and they are a belter company. If you haven't used their product yet, you should, because it is like an award-winning product. It is a belter product. And what I like about it most is it's British. I love it.
Cockney.
Love anything British.
I do. And we keep
And
our
he said he's
places
getting
down.
me tickets for Glastonbury. So don't forget me. I want campervan ones, VIP ones.
You couldn't do Glastonbury.
Who?
You
Can.
You couldn't. You're too old.
No.
Barry, you're 40, mate. Act your fucking age.
What are you saying? Now, listen to what you've said all night. You're like a contradicting swat. You can't use LEDs for your first grow. You can't go to Glastonbury. You're too old. You can't do this. You can't do that. Negative nanny, mate. Honestly.
Negative, Barry. I've took your role on tonight. This is what it's like
Listen
dealing
to
with you every
yourself.
day.
I'd encourage any new grower to use an LED because they will have less problems.
Would you encourage every 40-year-old to go to Glastonbury?
Yeah, man.
Show me how you're going to dance. It's Friday, yeah. It's Saturday, Sunday.
You're in work tomorrow. It's not like Friday to you. Stop it.
I'll let him have that one.
That Beatles song, 6 days a week. That's you.
It is me. I work hard.
Yeah, not smart.
Oh, not bombshell. I'm going to let everyone
Sounds
go.
like Jeremy Clarkson, who's the owl fucker now. On that bombshell. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Shut up, it's fucking Jeremy
Yeah,
Clarkson.
fucking knob.
Richard Hammond. Go on then.
Honest to God.
I did the
He's
intro
like
with
James May, isn't he?
Captain Slow.
Yeah, James May.
Come on then, fucking
Comes
Clarkson.
to work in a convertible Triumph.
Come on then. End
What?
the show. I did the beginning with the partners. Barry likes to do the end of the show. So from
sorry
me, thank you very much. I'll see you all next
And
week.
I'm sorry for all the new listeners that thought that they were going to come on and learn a little bit about growing, but what can I say? We've had a ball. It's been Friday. Me, Steve, Reg. It's been a ball. I've enjoyed it. And good night. God bless. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope there's another 265 followers for next week. And I'll see you soon. That all right?
Right.
Yeah, it's easy. Just put the headphones on and the mic. Ooh. And you just go. Just wind me up and I'll go. Good night.